How birth order shapes a child's personality. How family position influences character. Hello to all parents and anyone curious about child rearing. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic. How does a child's position in the family affect their personality and development? This is a question that Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler dedicated his life to studying. And his theory of birth order still amazes people today. Let's sit back, relax, and explore the story of how firstborns, middle children, youngest children, and only children become who they are, through a warm and accessible lens. First, let's cover the basics. According to Adler, birth order, that is, whether a child is the oldest, middle, youngest, or an only child, along with the number of siblings, can influence their personality, abilities, and even their self-perception. Each family position brings unique experiences that shape distinctive traits. Moreover, Adler emphasized that the psychological birth order, how a child feels about their position in the family, can sometimes be even more important than their actual birth order. For example, a middle child may behave like the eldest if the older sibling doesn't take on a leadership role. However, science still debates whether this theory is completely accurate, and we'll dive deeper into all aspects. Does birth order really shape personality? Let's start with the big question. Does birth order truly affect who we become? More than a century ago, Alfred Adler argued yes, and his theory remains a hot topic today. He believed that birth order not only influences personality but also impacts academic success and career achievement. A firstborn might develop very different traits compared to a youngest or an only child, rooted in how they were raised within the family structure. Adler explained that, even under the same roof, each child experiences family life differently. The firstborn often faces higher expectations from parents, while the youngest may be more pampered. The number of siblings also plays a major role. A large family dynamic is quite different from a home with just one or two children. Intriguingly, Adler introduced the idea of psychological birth order, meaning a child could feel like the oldest even if they aren't technically the firstborn if they assume a leadership role. But does science back Adler's theory? Research offers mixed results. A 2010 review of 200 studies confirmed some links between birth order and certain personality traits. However, a 2015 study found that firstborns might be slightly more intelligent. But there was no clear difference in emotions or imagination across birth orders. Another 2015 study found no link at all between birth order and personality or intelligence. On the other hand, a 2018 article suggested that firstborns are more likely to become leaders, showing traits like perseverance and emotional stability. So, what can we conclude? Birth order likely has some influence, but it's not the only factor. A child's personality is also shaped by environment, parenting styles, and genetics. Nonetheless, Adler's theory remains fascinating because it offers a deeper understanding of the unique dynamics among siblings. Unique personality traits by birth order. Now for the fun part. What characteristics are associated with each family position? Imagine yourself at the family dinner table, observing each child and wondering, why is the eldest so serious? Why does the youngest always seek the spotlight? Adler had answers for us. Firstborn, the natural leader. Think of the firstborn as a mini-adult in the house. Before any siblings arrive, the firstborn enjoys undivided love and attention from parents. But when a younger sibling is born, everything changes. Parents' love and attention must be shared, and the firstborn is often tasked with setting a good example. This instills a sense of responsibility, like a small leader within the family. According to Adler, firstborns often develop traits such as being controlling, diligent, cautious, reliable, and sometimes a bit rigid. The high expectations set by parents can drive firstborns to be conscientious and responsible. but also make them vulnerable to pressure. Some studies suggest that firstborns may even be slightly more intelligent, possibly due to receiving more parental investment early on. However, firstborns aren't always serious. They can be wonderful older siblings, protective and supportive. Yet the pressure to be perfect can cause stress. As parents, you can help your firstborn relax by praising their efforts rather than focusing only on achievements. Middle child, the skilled peacemaker. Next, let's talk about middle children, those caught between older and younger siblings. Adler described this phenomenon as middle child syndrome, where middle children may feel overshadowed or less noticed than their siblings. Imagine being the middle child. The firstborn is celebrated for being the pioneer, and the youngest is adored for being the baby. Where does that leave you? You must find your own way to shine. As a result, middle children often develop unique traits. They might become competitive or rebellious to assert themselves. Or alternatively, they may become calm, diplomatic, and highly social. Middle children often act as the glue of the family, skilled at pleasing others and connecting people. They tend to be open-minded and adaptable, having learned to fit in with both older and younger siblings. What's the downside? Sometimes middle children can feel neglected or underappreciated. As parents, you can help middle children feel special by spending one-on-one time with them, listening to their opinions, and encouraging their personal interests. A small compliment or a special outing can make a huge difference. Youngest child, the family star. Now, meet the youngest, the baby of the family. The youngest child often grows up wrapped in affection and indulgence, not only from parents but also from older siblings. This position gives them a unique confidence. They know they are loved and never have to compete for the title of baby. According to Adler, youngest children are typically charming, sociable, and attention-seeking. They might be a bit self-centered, but this also makes them magnetic and creative. Youngest children often dream big and believe they can conquer the world. However, being pampered can sometimes make it harder for them to become independent or cope with failure. As parents, you can foster independence in your youngest by giving them small responsibilities and encouraging problem-solving skills. At the same time, continue to nurture their creativity and positive energy. These are gifts they bring to the family. Only child, the lone star. Finally, let's talk about only children, those who grow up without siblings. Only children are the center of the universe for their parents, receiving undivided love, attention, and often high expectations, spending so much time around adults. Only children tend to mature early, often speaking and behaving more like little adults compared to their peers. Adler described only children as little miracles, often showing traits like perfectionism, diligence, leadership qualities, and dedication. However, because they have no siblings to share with, only children might sometimes feel lonely or find it harder to adjust socially. They may also put great pressure on themselves to meet parental expectations. How can you support an only child? Encourage them to join group activities such as clubs or sports to build teamwork skills. Also, give them space to be themselves, without always having to be perfect. A little freedom and fun can help them balance maturity with a happy, healthy childhood. Birth order and mental health. Is there a connection? We've talked a lot about personality, but does birth order also affect a child's mental health? This is an important question because mental health is foundational for a child's overall development. Let's see what Adler and modern science have to say. Adler suggested that firstborns might be more prone to nervous disorders, an old term for anxiety or stress, due to the pressure of setting an example. However, his theory didn't deeply explore complex mental health issues, and modern research has brought new perspectives. Studies on birth order and mental health offer conflicting results. A 2021 study found that youngest children had the lowest rates of emotional, behavioral, or attention problems, along with higher social skills and resilience. Meanwhile, middle children were found to have lower life satisfaction. Contrarily, a 2019 study suggested that youngest children might be at a higher risk for mental health issues or even suicide, completely opposite to Adler's claims. Another 2015 study indicated that firstborns were more vulnerable to psychological issues, while a 2019 study found no link between birth order and mental health at all. So, what's the takeaway? Birth order is probably not the main factor determining mental health. Instead, issues like anxiety, depression, and behavior are shaped by many factors: environment, parenting styles, genetics, and personal experiences. As a parent, the key is to listen to and observe your child. Whether they are firstborn, middle, youngest, or an only child, if you notice any concerning signs, don't hesitate to seek help from a mental health professional. Conclusion: understanding to love and support. The journey through Alfred Adler's birth order theory has been truly fascinating, hasn't it? We've seen how family position can help shape a child's personality, from the responsibility of firstborns, to the diplomacy of middle children, to the creativity of the youngest, and the perfectionism of only children. However, birth order is not everything. Every child is a unique individual with their own dreams, fears, and potential. As parents, you can use these insights to better understand your children. Recognize each child's strengths and help them overcome their unique challenges. Firstborns may need encouragement to relax. Middle children may need recognition. Youngest children may need support in building independence. And only children may need opportunities to connect with others. Most importantly, love your children with all your heart, because your love and support will be the biggest factor shaping who they become. Thank you for listening. Feel free to share this story with your loved ones. And let's work together to create families filled with joy and understanding. See you next time for more exciting topics.